Hi everyone, welcome to Sew Comfort with Amanda. I'm your host Amanda and I'm so excited you are here today to join me to learn a little bit more about the world of sewing. Today's topic is a continuation of our series on the introduction to fabrics, and we are going to talk about flannel. Flannel is a material that you see everywhere and you probably don't even realize what it is. It's usually made out of 100% cotton or 100% wool. It is a woven material, which means that it ravels whenever it gets cut and that it will burn, not melt, when exposed to a flame. Flannel comes in multiple different varieties. You have the solid variety, which is dyed all the way through. So front and back typically look the same. Sometimes it's brushed on one side, which means it's kind of has a raised finish, and that's going to be a little bit different. That's usually your right side of the fabric, where the wrong side can be usually just flat like this. There you go. It can also be printed, which you will see a lot at your typical craft hobby stores. Joann's, Hobby Lobby, sometimes Walmart. So this is printed on one side with cute little monkeys and birds, and then it's blank on the other side. So you actually use right sides together when you sew it. Now there's another type of flannel that you don't see a lot anymore. It's used a lot in apparel, especially for adults, and that's going to be the woven, where it's the same on both sides. Flannel can be used to make loveys for babies, cozy little beds for small animals. When the Australian wildfires were happening, the beds were made for the koalas out of, and bats out of flannel. And then they also can be used for children's sleepwear, as well as blankets and pillows and other items that you want to be extra soft, like a neck pillow. We did a lot of those with my Sew Comfort workshops a few years ago. So what isn't flannel? Flannel. So this is fleece, and as you can see, it's bumpy on one side, it's smooth on the other, it's kind of thick. It stretches and doesn't unravel. This is not flannel. And I have seen so many people bring this up and be like, okay, I've got my flannel pillow. No, it's not flannel. This cannot be sanitized. This is plastic, so not a natural fiber. Natural fibers can be sanitized in the wash and kill most viruses such as RSV, but you can't do that nearly as effectively with a synthetic. So if you're making something for, say, a hospital or wildlife and they ask you for flannel, make sure it is, as you can see the ravels here, make sure it is actually cotton or wool based on their requirements, and it's this material. So what are we going to make today? Today we're going to use this cute little piece that I have already cut to make a little pillow for our dollies, because they're fun, they're simple, they take only a few minutes, and you can use any size piece of fabric. So we're going to fold it together like this, and if you don't feel comfortable sewing this together, go ahead and pin it. We're going to pin an opening about 2 inches on what's going to become our bottom side. And if you're going to pin, okay, we go in with the pin and up. There you go. Now you can see it. So into the fabric with the pin, through the back, and up is how you pin. Okay, so let's move over to the sewing machine. All right, here we are at the sewing machine, and we're going to get started. We are actually going to find our shortest side. I'm going to put our pin in it. We're going to lower our needle however that is done on your machine, and we're going to tie off. On my machine, it's an automatic tie off. I just hit the button. And I'm going to go ahead and go to the end. Once I get to the end, about 1/4 inch away, I will pivot. And just in case you're curious, This fabric is roughly 5 inches by, oops, wrong side, by 4 1/4. Now that is folded over, so it's actually going to be 10 by 4 1/4. And I'm going to go, and this is just a piece of scrap I had laying around. So I'm going to go ahead and do this side. You'll see I guide with my left, and my right keeps it under the presser foot. My left keeps it moving. And then I'm going to take and pivot again. And bring it under the needle. Do my 1/4 inch. About a 1/4 inch from the end. Pivot. Do it again. And then I come down here. Take the pin out as you saw. Tie off. Now I'm going to pull it out from under my machine. And I actually already did this, but normally at this point you would come in here and clip all your corners. There, you can actually see me do this one. Okay, so you would clip your corners. This keeps the bulk out of your corner and allows you to get a nice point. Actually, this one's not cut quite deep enough. So you want to cut it down a little more than an 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so now you're going to find your opening, which is down here. It should be about 1.5 to 2 inches. If you're doing a larger pillow, you might want a bigger opening, but at least for this little doll size, we don't need it. So you're just going to turn your fabric right side out. Now, I used the woven fabric, but if you were going to do this with the printed, you want to make sure that when you sew a printed material, your right side, what we tell our children's classes, the pretty side, those touch. And then your seam goes down the pretty side. So that when you open up your fabric, you're getting this look, not the white. Okay, so back to turning. We're going to turn our little pillow here. And we're going to use our finger to just poke out these corners. In other types of projects, we might not do, we might use what's called a point turner. Or if you don't have a point turner around, rat tail comb has a nice pointy end, and you can come in here and go, oh, hi, Mr. Corner, and poke out your corners with your rat tail comb. The nice thing about a rat tail comb, like the point turner, the point's not quite as sharp, so you don't accidentally poke through your fabric. Ask me how many times that has happened. Okay, so now the next thing you do is you put however much polyester stuffing inside as you want to have. And you find your opening and go poke, 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 poke. And there's multiple ways you can close this once you have as much polyester stuffing in here as you like. I'm just doing this to show you what it looks like. You can slip stitch it, which is a hand sewing technique. But if you're in a hurry and you just don't feel like sewing, find your raw edges. So find your edges, put them together. Most likely I would recommend for beginners to go ahead and pin it. And you're going to put that under your machine, 1/8 of an inch, no more than 1/8 of an inch from the edge. Go ahead and do a little teeny tiny top stitch. And you only do that the length of your opening, or if you wanted to have a decorative edge, you could do it all the way around. But now, you have this cute little pillow. Okay, and there you have it, your little pillow that is perfect size for your American Girl, Journey Girl, My Life as a Doll, Our Generation, or any other doll 15 inches and up. Thank you for joining me today and learning about flannel and all of its fun uses and the different types. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and like our channel on YouTube, So Comfort with Amanda. If you would like to continue the conversation, please join me on Facebook in the private group, So Comfort with Amanda. Thank you again, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.